Hey y'all, so today I'm going to talk with y'all about how I set up our video manual and just go through and what I do to prepare for the year, because I know it can kind of be overwhelming and there's so many sections. And so I just walk through my process that I do, and we've been doing this is our 5th year with Abeka Academy. And so I'm just going to show the process of what I do, how I set it up, highlight things, and the different sections of the manual that Abeka provides for the Abeka Academy. So if y'all want to come along and see what we're doing, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and follow us on Instagram and our Facebook page, Farmhouse of Blessings. And I would love to give any encouragement that I possibly can. And I do this because I really want to encourage other families that are using Abeka Academy. That's all we've ever known. So I feel like I kind of, have a lot of information. And so I just want to help how I can. So I hope that y'all will follow along and please let us know. Hey y'all. Okay, so I wanted to get on and show y'all what we do with our video manual. I got it yesterday and I went through and just kind of just talked about or highlighted some things and wanted to show y'all how I do the setup with the video manual when it gets here. So this is for 2nd grade, like I showed in the other video. So the first thing is Abeka gives very detailed information. And so the first thing is this abbreviation key is very helpful, very, very helpful for just showing what the abbreviations are throughout the video manual. So I look at that and reference that a lot. So there's a tab here for that. And then also is the time schedules. You don't have to do it in this order. You don't have to do it for those exact amount of times for the extra work and stuff like that. But it's just a good guide. So if you're trying to set up your day for your kid and you want to know, okay, how long is this going to take for us to do the Bible lesson? Then you come over and you see it says 30 minutes. So you know that lesson will take roughly 30 minutes. And then activity time, 20 minutes. Will it be extra work? Sometimes if it's art or there's a project, then it'll be extra independent work. So that's just a really good guide to give you an idea of what your days kind of look like. And if you decide, okay, we're not doing spelling and poetry on the video, we'll do that ourselves. Where you're going to teach, then obviously you would, not include that in your lineup. But if you're doing the full lineup for the Abeka Academy, this is what your day is going to look like. Here in the reading circles, you're going to pick one. And so you have the more advanced, the middle of the road, and then one that the Ducks group is kind of just a little bit lower group that she goes a little bit slower and with her reading passages and just kind of helps out a little bit. So there's 3 different groups. And then you'll, and this is during PM reading, which is usually like on the videos where they're doing seat work or the AM reading. So you don't have to do both of those sets of reading time, but it's a good way, it's a good habit to get into, to do some morning reading and some afternoon reading, like as quote unquote homework. And then the arithmetic combination practice, that's just where they go over those combinations over and over and over again to get them just ingrained in their head. And that's not necessarily something you have to do every single day. And then the seat work explanation of where they talk about what you need to do, and I'll discuss seat work in just a minute, but I just wanted to show this and how we set up our schedule based off of the time schedules that they give us, so we know exactly how long each of the lessons are. And then next we're going to flip over, and then throughout the other pages, it just gives some information, homework, seat work. And this is just a jumping off point. This is not necessary. This is not, you don't have to follow it to a T. That is what I consider one of the beauties of homeschooling, is you can pick and choose what you want to do with your children. So it just gives just ideas and guides of how to use the video manual and what to do for each lesson, and averaging grades and grade scale and just different things. So this is something really you want to read through, but you don't have to read every single paragraph, every single section if you don't feel like it's necessary. But it's really a lot of good information. And then we'll flip to this section. Let's see. Then the next section is the daily guides. And this is pretty much your schedule and everything you're going to be doing for the day. So this is for lesson 1. And we just got it. We had already started because we just did some of the free streaming hours. And so we already had started lesson 1. So let me flip to lesson 3, which is where we'll be. And and I was talking on my other video about what I do with the video manual. And this is what we do. I go through on each subject and I highlight things that I want to remember, that I can look where it's tabbed, I can flip to that lesson, and I can find things that we're going to be doing that day. So for lesson 3, you're going to need your phonics and language page 5. They're going to be memorizing Genesis 1 through 5. So a good idea is to have that written out for your children to reference, or just use the Bible to flip to when they're ready each day when they're going over it. And then here we're going to, it talks about the seat work, and I will talk about that in just a minute. And it says Appendix B. And then this is the reading lessons, and it says what you're going to be reading in. This is the Handbook for Reading book, page 1 and 3. And this is what group my son's going to be in. And then for writing cursive, the cards you're going to need for the lesson, and then what page they'll be working on, the arithmetic, and it says you need 10 objects for counting. And then over here, it kind of always gives little notes, like make sure students have their class materials ready. Students will complete writing with phonics page 3 as directed by the teacher. And so those are all things that I will have ready sitting there, either tabbed or ripped out if it's a test or something, where he can easily access it. And then spelling and poetry, we have that already flagged in his book of page 69 because that's the poem they're working on. And then if we're going to do afternoon reading, the pages that they want you to work on in afternoon reading. And so we do that. I go through and I do that usually in sets in like how many lessons we're doing for the week. And I did it for lesson 4 here. So on the day or the night before or the morning of, I will go through and I will just make sure that I have everything ready, so that when the teacher says, hey, turn to page 4 in your arithmetic book, that is flagged and ready to go. So he's not wondering where the book is, so he's not wondering what page do I turn to, I can't find it quick enough, etc. And in the groups for reading, there will be words that they want you to write, so you can either write them on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard or a chalkboard. And these are just words that Miss Chappell will refer to in the lesson, and so you want them there because she'll refer to them, but then you're also going to want your students to read those words displayed. And then talks about the new book that they're going to be reading, which is Fun with Friends, and it tells it's page 1 through 5. So I go through and just highlight the sections that I feel like are important as a reminder. Hey, don't forget we've got to get this page. Like this one right here is the first day of history. So you need to have Our America book ready, and I put a tab at page 1, so he knows that that's where we're going to start reading. So I want to preface this with, for people that are not familiar with Abeka, this program, this curriculum was designed for Christian schools. And so seat work was used when the teacher is working with a certain group of students on reading. Seat work is kind of a filler time so the other children aren't, or where they don't have anything to do, where they can keep up and be calm and quiet and do their work. It's kind of like a place time to do extra classwork that they didn't get to or homework. So in my opinion, and a lot of groups, a lot of people will say this, and even Abeka admits that all the seat work is not necessary because it is considered busy work for a classroom setting. So what I did with my daughter and what I'll do with my son this year is I think that some of the stuff for seat work is necessary and helpful. So we always do the pages, like it'll say right here, phonics and language page 2. We always do that because that is a good guide for me to say, okay, we did this page, you understand the concepts, and we move on. But there are other things that they have you do that I think are necessary. So sometimes there's copy work, like if you see here, there's copy work. So you're copying and circling the number that it's greater. You're filling in, copying, writing missing numbers. And these are things that would be on a chalkboard that a teacher would write up there. The children would copy it and do that in time if they got done with all their worksheets and if they got done with, in what's considered busy work. So there are times when I'll use that as a tool to help. If we're struggling with numbers, then we might do more copy work. If we're struggling with addition sums and just the answers and stuff, then we'll work on that and copy that. It's not a necessity to do this. If you don't do any copy work, your child will be fine. And that's the whole beauty of homeschooling, is you know when your child's struggling, you know what they're struggling with or not struggling with. So if you need to utilize, a section about, adding and subtracting or talking about money and coins, then you can have that. But it's not necessary to do these things. And I think there's a section when you get to spelling where you'll be writing the spelling words. Now that is one thing that we do, is we do copy spelling lists and we do the pages each day. And then just in the back, and then there's a section for writing. It gives you a guide for cursive work, and then it tells you, okay, this child got an A, and this is what an A looks like. And then it shows you the different levels and writing, and it also gives really good guides to just comments and things to encourage your children. And then there's a section for the arithmetic charts and addition and subtraction families for quick reference, multiplication and division. Then a section for spelling and poetry. It shows you how to set up your tests. And then it also gives you exercises and answers from your spelling and vocabulary book. So that's a quick reference. Then it also just gives you some information about your materials that you use as the parent, and just different information that you can talk. And then this in the back is the progress reports. If you are doing the accredited program, this is what you'll take and send in to Abeka. And we've never done accredited, but I still keep up with my children's grades in this, on these pieces of paper, on these progress reports, because it's just, why wouldn't I utilize that? I don't want to reinvent a progress report for them when it's all laid out here, even though we don't do the accredited program. So this is in the back there, and it has all the information for each grading period. So I hope this has been helpful and just shows a different way to go through the video manual. And I just encourage you that if you're new and you're just trying to figure it all out, just take it, like I said in my other video, just a little bit at a time to just take a deep breath and look through one section, then, take a deep breath and look through another section. So it's a guide, but it's a really good guide that's really thorough, and everything you need is in this book for doing the academy. So I hope y'all can have a great year, and I hope this was encouraging and was helpful. And just let us know in the comments if there's any questions you have. I'm going to be doing a couple more videos that kind of tie in to starting out. So if there's anything you'd like to know and would like just how we do things in our homeschool, just to let us know in the comments, and you can personal message us on Instagram and our Facebook page at Farmhouse of Blessings. And if there's anything else, we would love to help, and we just hope y'all have a great year.